Good evening. You've probably heard or read a lot about that house on Dick Street that's known as the ABC House. Tonight we'll get to know a little bit more about ABC, its staff, and the students that are part of the program. Joining us today for a discussion on the ABC House are Sandy Thompson, the president of the local ABC chapter, and Mita Fisher and Daniel Fisher, who are resident directors of the ABC House here in Winchester. Folks, thanks for joining us tonight. Sandy, I'd like to start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about ABC? What is it, and what does it try to do?
Well, the national organization is basically a recruiting and referral organization that looks for talented, academically motivated minority students, junior high or high school students, and they place these students in outstanding secondary schools around the country. Our program is one of 23 public school programs in a total network of about 163. So our local group, our local program provides these students with an education at Winchester High School, a living situation at 2 Dick Street, and we hope a good experience.
How long has it been in existence here in Winchester, ABC?
This is ABC's 15th year in Winchester. We're really proud of a very strong track record.
Yeah, that's pretty excellent. Where did the idea, to get it started in Winchester come from?
Well, one of the local citizens, Bonnie Holmes, was at a seminar at Dartmouth back in 1970, and she brought the idea back to Winchester and presented it to the Ecumenical Association, and it just took off. And within a very short period of time, there was enough support to start the local program and to incorporate it as Winchester Committee for ABC.
Okay. Now, is each local branch, if that's the correct word to use, local branch of the ABC program, is it autonomous as to how it operates within the community?
Yes, basically, in particular, public school programs are pretty much autonomous. We receive folders, applications from National. We have a personnel committee who then decides which students will be here. We have support from National in terms of advice and so forth. No financial support, however. Our program is totally community supported, which means raising close to $60,000 each year.
What kind of community activities does the ABC House in Winchester sponsor
for fundraising purposes?
Yeah.
We have a number of things. We usually have a fall event of some sort. Sometimes it's a dance. It has been an auction in the past. We're now running 3 bottle drives a year, fall, winter, and spring.
I see the posters around town.
Yeah. And we always have a spring concert. That's been a tradition since the beginning of the program.
Have you always been located at Dick Street?
Yes. Yeah. They purchased that house from the First Congregational Church across the way at the very beginning.
And does upkeep for the house and all that come from these contributions?
From the operating budget, yes. And of course, maintaining an old house like that does present problems, and we're now in a situation where we're looking for extra money to make some very necessary repairs.
How many people can live in the house, including the kids and the directors?
Well, the maximum really is 10 students, and the 3rd floor apartment can accommodate a couple, and I would say maximum of 2 children. It's pretty crowded quarters, really.
I see. And how many do you have living there now, kids?
We have 10 students, 10 boys.
Okay, we'll be talking to a couple of them a little later on today. Yeah.
We have freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And then Mita and Daniel live on the 3rd floor with their 2 little boys.
Okay. Mita and Dan, I'd like to ask you, I believe this is your first experience acting as resident directors for a group such as this. What made you choose to try out to be resident directors, for a group of 10 boys?
Well, I'll answer that, maybe.
Let me answer that particular question.
Sure.
I was interested in a job where I could be at home with kids and hopefully in a people-related sort of position. I'd been looking for a long period of time, maybe a college dorm or some kind of resident position. It would be basically my responsibility, but we could be present as a couple. And the right thing just didn't come along, and we just chanced on this and fell in love with the setup right away.
Really, was it what you expected it to be when you read the ad or whatever and said, "Oh,
Right.
let's check this out"? Did it turn out to be what you expected?
Pretty much. Most resident directors are in college dorm situations, and it would be very difficult to have two children in a situation like that.
So you have two children of your own.
Right.
How old are they?
3 and 6.
I see.
Let me also add that Daniel attended a high school that had a public school program, so he was already familiar with ABC. So when I approached him with this ad that I cut out of the paper, he right away supported it, investigating it, and
Sure. You know,
blossomed.
it seems that, being young yourselves, that the kids really can identify with you, that you can have a real rapport with them. Do you find that's been the case?
Well,
that's
certainly in the fact that there's 12 young men in that house, it's easy to establish a rapport with them.
Do you feel outnumbered?
I am the only woman there with 13 men. At times, but I forget it. We do have a cook. It's another woman, and she's in frequently in the afternoons. But
What is it like for you, Mita, to be a mother to 10 teenage boys? Because that's, in effect, what you are.
well, I'm a little of everything. A little mother, a little friend, a little of everything.
What role do you like the most?
It's a challenge. Well, I hate being the heavy enforcer, as we all do. But it's a very normal parental situation. I love being able to help problem solve, and I think be just another open ear to talk to.
Daniel, when you look at the boys that you live with, do you see any bit of yourself in them?
Oh, sure, all 10 of them are me at one time.
Really?
Sure.
They bring you back to your teenage years very
Oh,
quickly.
absolutely.
Do you remember, as sometimes you might have to play the heavy with them, do you think back and remember what it was like for you when you were their age?
Oh,
and in high
certainly.
school?
I remember what Dad would do if I did similar things myself.
So how does that cause you to react with the boys?
Um,
Does it soften you up a little bit, the memories of it?
it helps me take a second look before I make a decision.
Daniel's
I-
very
I-
good at that.
I like to make decisions after thinking about it for a while. I can remember some fathers making decisions in a shorter period of time than might be appropriate. I wouldn't say it softens me up. I think I make decisions appropriate for the problems that arise, but I like to do them when everything's been clearly thought out and I've talked to anybody about something, so there's no question in
I would
anyone's
guess-
mind.
I'd guess the boys might sense that in you, that you just don't act. I don't mean don't act spontaneously, but you do take the time to, to think and weigh things before you have to come up with a.
He's very fair.
Yeah.
He's very fair. Where I might have a quick idea on how to do things, and after talking with Daniel, get a new perspective.
Now, how did you have to apply to be resident directors? What was the process involved in that?
So, process mainly of answering an ad to the personnel chairperson, which at the time was Sandy Thompson. And we had a long chat over the phone about 5 o'clock one afternoon with my kids hollering for dinner, and from there we went through an interview with the whole personnel committee. I should backtrack. We submitted basically a letter and resume and went through a process of interviews.
Sandy, why were Mita and Daniel the people you and the committee were looking for? What made them the right ones?
Well, I think there were a lot of factors, and a lot of it just had to do with instinct. We sensed their ability to communicate, their openness. There was something about Mita's energy and interest in the program, and that I think really grabbed all of us on the committee. And they were far and away the most outstanding couple that we interviewed, and we did interview a number of people and talked to many more on the phone. And I must say the interview process was two-way. It was partly, a good part of it was informational, not only learning about them, but also letting them know what was involved in the job and trying to describe and familiarize them with the many aspects of the job. And in addition to dealing with the students, Mita has a lot to do with board members. She has to do a lot of coordinating, and she's really an outreach for the house itself.
It's a lot of meetings.
Lots
Really?
of meetings, lots of extra time, never mind the day-to-day and nighttime stuff.
You have your hands
it's
full.
a big job. It's a very big job, and I should say it's an unsalaried job. None of, we don't have a salaried position for anyone except the cook, which is very part-time.
Well, you know what my favorite line is? Your reward will be great in heaven. You know that?
That's for sure.
Are the two of you Winchester natives? Are you native?
No. We came to Boston 4.5 years ago, and Daniel started a graduate program.
Where'd you come from?
United States Navy. All
Oh,
over
really?
the United
Right.
States.
We had a lot of moves.
Our roots are in Massachusetts. That's where we grew up.
Okay, so you're growing with, with the area too. Winchester, some of the boys that you're living with are getting to know the town and whatnot.
Daniel's a
Yeah.
graduate student at Northeastern,
Right.
so
Oh.
he's trying to pursue his own work while.
How do you do it? Yeah, gee whiz, work, study, kids.
You don't spend a lot of time on the phone chatting with your friends.
Is that a
Use
potential?
your time wisely. You have to plan your days. You plan every day. You plan your time with your kids.
And the kids all help. The house is set up with chores and to be shared. And
Do you ever say, like all parents do it sometimes, I got to get away from these kids, get me a night out or something?
we did that last
But
night.
So who takes over when, let's say the two of you go out for the evening? What
Who
happens?
takes over at the Winchester ABC?
Yes.
No one. We wouldn't go out ordinarily on that type of evening unless we haven't. The system's really set up to provide us with a weekend off every now and then, so there's no need to do that.
I
There's
see.
host family weekend. We'll say roughly once a month.
What is
And the kids go home for vacation, so
Okay.
that outlet's provide us, and our in-laws
Mhm.
take care of our kids when necessary.
A little bit of help there. You mentioned host families, Daniel. Sandy, can you tell us a little bit about the concept of host families? What are they?
Well, each student has his own host family who, at least in theory, provides a student with a place to go to get away from the other students, the crowded conditions at the house, just to give them a break. Also a family who, gives that little extra measure of attention to that particular student. It's one of the strongest parts of our program, and it makes our public school program very special.
Is it difficult or easy to get host families for the kids?
It's not easy because it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment in time and energy, and in ideal circumstances, a host family takes a student when they come as a freshman and stays with that student until they graduate. So,
Are there any repeat host families? And what I mean is any families that have been hosts, for several years or a couple of years?
and then have come back, you mean,
Yes,
to doing it?
yeah.
Yes, there have been. We don't have any right at the moment, but we have had in the past. My own family, we've had several different students.
Who does someone contact if they're kicking around the idea of maybe volunteering to be a host family for an ABC student? Who should they call?
Well, really, anyone on the board, and we do have information around town.
We're going to pause for a minute here, and we're going to come back and we're going to have a couple of young men who are living with Mita and Dan as students. So, Sandy, Mita, Dan, thanks for chatting right now, and stay with us. We'll be right back. Go to school at Winchester High through the ABC program, and I'd like to introduce you to them. Closest to me is Jermaine Jones, and also with us is Ralph Hernandez. Jermaine, Ralph, thanks for coming down tonight. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. How old are you? What grade you in? Where are you from?
I'm from Bronx, New York. My name is Jermaine Jones, you already know. And I'm a sophomore, and I'm 15 years old, just last year.
Terrific. Ralph?
Well, my name is Ralph Hernandez, as you already know, and I'm a junior at Winchester High School. And, well, it's
Okay.
a nice introduction, I guess.
Okay. And where are you from, Ralph?
I'm from the Bronx, New York.
Did the two of you know each other before you came here to Winchester?
No.
No.
Okay, okay. So you're a junior, you're a sophomore. What's it like living on Dick Street, you know, with Mita and Dan and 8 other guys? What's it like?
I think it's good, you know, that we you know, it's 10 guys from, you know, not from here, and we live together, you know. It's kind of nice, you know, when you come into like a new town, you have nobody, you know, nobody at the high school or anything, and then, you know, you at least know 9 people from the house, and, you know, you can at least communicate with them and so forth.
Is this your first year in town with ABC here in Winchester?
It's my second.
Your second year?
This is my third.
Your third year. What made you decide to go with the ABC program or apply for it? To make you go to another town out of state to go to high school? What made you do that?
Well, I just wanted to see what it was like, you know, get a chance to, you know, experience a different setting.
Sure.
You know.
How about yourself, Ralph?
Well, like in my school, you know, ABC is like really talked about, like by all the principals and stuff, you know. And while I was, you know, since starting 6th grade, they were talking to me about it a lot, you know, and encouraging me to try to do well, so then I can, you know, get a better chance, you know, when I applied and stuff.
That's what ABC stands for, huh?
Right. It's pretty.
Now, I know you guys wouldn't be in town or wouldn't be in the ABC program if you weren't smart, if you weren't bright. How do you find the courses at the high school here in Winchester, at Winchester High?
Challenging.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the most difficult part about going to school here and living, you know, on Dick Street, you know, at the house?
Leaving your family and your friends.
Yeah. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 brothers.
Brothers, older or younger?
They're older.
I see. How about you, Ralph?
Well, I have a brother and 3 sisters, and I'm the oldest.
You're the leader in the family.
Yeah, I have to set the good examples and stuff.
I bet you do, too. Is that the toughest part for you, you know, living away from home, from the family?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get to visit them at all, or any contact with the folks?
Yeah, during vacations.
So you went home for Easter. I'm sorry, Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, you've been here 2 years, you've been here 3 years, you're going to be you're graduating in another year, another 2 for you. What are you going to tell the folks back home about your experience, your four years at Winchester? You know, Winchester High. What are you going to say Winchester's like, and Winchester kids, and Winchester High? You know?
Totally different.
Yeah. In what way?
Something that they wouldn't expect. Like you wouldn't, like there's a whole different variety of people at the school. Like you have your brains, you know, smart people, people that are good at sports. You know, then they have people like punk. They dress differently. And I don't think that in New York you would see much of that.
Really? I always imagined New York, you know, going to high school in New York, you'd see every kind of, you know, student. But it's not really that way?
Well, I wouldn't know about the high schools, but in like the junior high schools, you don't see that many.
I see. What are you going to say when you get, after you leave here, Ralph? And I'm sure you're going to come back and visit lots of times. What are you going to tell folks about your experience with ABC, you know, in Winchester?
Well, I'm basically going to tell them that, you know, it's been a great experience for me, you know. I'm glad I came and did it, you know. I just wish that, you know, some of my friends had had the same opportunity as I did. Because, you know, it's a wonderful experience. Because, you know, you come in, you know, you're from New York and, you know, you live in a city. Then you come to Winchester and it's a suburb. You know, it's a whole different culture, you know. You meet different people, you know, how they live and stuff, you know. It's pretty interesting.
Do the kids here in town really know where you guys are coming from because it is a suburb, not the city where you guys have friends and where you guys have grown up. Now, do the kids here really know where you're coming from? Do you know what I mean?
Not exactly.
Okay. How do I put this in other words? You stumped me, Jermaine. I guess what I'm asking is how are the kids here in town different, from your friends and from you, when you're at home? How's life different for teenagers, high school teenagers here in Winchester than it is for your friends at home?
In some ways, it's a lot easier for them.
Where, here,
Like
or?
transportation-wise.
I see.
They don't have to take too many buses or trains.
Is that home or here?
Well, here,
I see.
and here their parents can drive them places.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't always happen in the Bronx, huh? I've heard, just between you and me, we won't tell anyone else this, but some people have said that Winchester kids are a little bit naive, that they really don't know what's going on out there in the world. Do you agree with that, or do you not? Or is there a little bit of truth in that?
There's a little.
Yeah. Well, some know about, what's out there, and then some are naive because, they've always been sheltered in one place, and they haven't been brought out to different atmospheres and cultures and stuff. Mm-hmm. So some of them are naive, I think.
Hmm. What have you learned by being here at Winchester, at Winchester High, that you may not have picked up, had you gone to high school in the Bronx? What difference has being here made for you?
Well, not to take every person as on your first opinion of them, because someone that you think you would hate might turn out to be a good person. You might get along well with them.
Mm-hmm. That's a very important lesson. You learned that early. How about yourself?
I didn't quite catch the question. Could you repeat, please?
What have you learned being here in Winchester? What difference has being here made for you in your life?
Well,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is a tough one. Well, I don't know, just being here has given me a different perspective, what I want in life, because, I don't know.
What do you want in life?
Well, what everybody wants, just to live a nice, peaceful, successful life.
Mm-hmm. Have you thought about what you want to do after high school, after you leave here, after you graduate from Winchester High? What's in the future for you?
College.
Anything in particular that you might like to study?
Accounting.
Good field. Good field. Maybe you can do my books around in April time for me.
Maybe.
Lousy at it.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Ralph? What happens after Winchester High?
Well, after Winchester, I'm planning to go to college and, try to, basically take a liberal arts, because I really don't know what I want to do. So I want to see, what I really like to do, so then I can pursue it further.
Okay. Now, you guys both have host families here, huh? Who are they, and how much time do you get to spend with them?
My host parents are John and Mary Jordan. I spend a lot of time with them, like weekends.
Mm-hmm. Do they have other kids?
Yeah, they have 2 kids of their own, and they have a Mexican exchange student.
Oh, wow. And you're a bonus.
Yeah.
So you all have fun together?
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Who's your host family, though?
My host is John and Laurie Minetti, and they have 2 kids. One's 10, his name is Drew Minetti, and then they have a freshman at the high school. Her name is Laurie Jean Minetti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you get together with them how often?
Well, we have, like I said, a weekend, like every 3rd weekend of the month. We go and spend the weekend with them. Mm-hmm. And then every Sunday, we go over there for the afternoon, eat dinner and stuff.
Kelly, what do you guys do for kicks on Dick Street? Friday nights or Saturday nights? How do you break the board? And what do you do for fun up there?
Nothing.
Oh, come on.
At the house?
Yeah.
We do a lot.
We listen to tapes, watch like sports, basketball games.
Play ping pong.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And, we just got a computer and, we play with it and, also use it for
Is it sometimes tough living with 8 other guys? Sometimes you might, you have your own way of doing things, I'm sure, like all of us do. And you have to share facilities, share everything, with the other guys. How isn't that a pain sometimes?
Sometimes.
I lived with 3 other guys too, so I know exactly what you mean. So, what else? Would you encourage, any other kids to come here and to Winchester to be a part of the ABC program?
Yes, definitely.
Why?
Because they get like a good education, and there's so many things like extracurricular activities to do. They have like a wide range of sports, and they have a whole bunch of clubs,
What do you hope to do? You have 2 more years left in town. You have about 1.5 years, Ralph. Is there anything left you want to do before you leave Winchester or the Boston area? Any things, places you want to go, places to see, people to see? Or is graduating from Winchester High, the big priority, the number one thing you hope to accomplish before you leave?
Oh, that's what we really come here
yeah.
for. So
to graduate.
that is one of the biggest.
How tough was it, getting along in school? You said you had, 9 or 8 other guys, at the house, to communicate with and to sort of support you. When you started off going to the high school, what was it like trying to, adjust to that, fit in and get to know the other kids? Was that a difficult experience, or what was that like?
It was kind of difficult because, they didn't know us, so they were kind of hesitant to talk, And you really have to sort of break into it, because they've grown up with their friends all their lives, and here we're new, so they're going to be hesitant to, even ask us our names, like, who's he,
But now, things are rolling along very well, huh? Or are they? Yeah. Okay. If you had a chance, say you were going to leave town tomorrow, that you were graduating, you were going to leave Winchester tomorrow. If there was one thing that you could tell the kids in Winchester, before you left, you had one bit of advice to give the kids, what would be that one thing you'd most like to tell the kids before you left?
That's kind of hard.
That's a curve. But let me see if I can quickly pull that out.
I don't know. My advice to them would be, I don't know, when new people just come to town, just because they don't know them, just not say, oh, we don't want to be his friend or something like that, Just get to know the person, then base your judgment on that. Not judge a person, just seeing them and, appearance-wise or something, Get to know the person. That's the only advice I could give them.
That's a very good one, too. Ralph Hernandez, Tremaine Jones, thanks very much for coming and talking with us tonight.
Sure.
Folks,